So when you hear the phrase sustainable building, what pops into your head? You're probably thinking solar panels, right? Or maybe one of those cool green roofs. And yeah, those are definitely part of it. But the real story, especially now, is that sustainability has gotten so much bigger. We're talking about a total rethink of how we design, build, and even live in our spaces. So let's get into what a truly sustainable building means today.
To really get why this is so important, it all comes down to this one single number, 37%. That's it. According to the UN, that's the slice of global energy-related CO2 emissions that comes directly from our buildings. It's a huge number, and it puts the places we live and work right at the heart of the climate crisis.
All right, so here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to wrap our heads around the massive scale of the problem. Then, we'll need to completely redefine what sustainable even means. After that, we'll look at some of the incredible tech making it all happen, check out the real-world benefits for our wallets and our well-being, and finally, we'll peek into the future to tackle the next big thing, the hidden carbon challenge.
Okay, so let's start with that big picture. You see, that 37% isn't just a number on a page. It's the energy we use to heat, cool, and light up every single home, office, and factory across the globe. Just the construction industry by itself chews through 3 billion tons of raw materials every single year. The scale is just mind-boggling. But you know what? That also means the opportunity to make a positive change is just as massive.
For a long time, green building was really just a synonym for energy efficiency. You know, lower power bills, a smaller carbon footprint, which is great. But it's only one piece of a much larger puzzle. To get to true sustainability, we have to think bigger, more holistically. And there's a framework for that called the triple bottom line.
And this is really the key mindset shift. The triple bottom line basically argues that for anything to be genuinely sustainable, you can't just look at the financial profit. It has to create real, measurable value for people and for the planet too. It's a much more complete way of looking at what success actually means.
So how does this actually apply to a building? Well, for people, it's all about creating spaces that are healthy, that make you feel good, to boost your well-being. For the planet, that's the stuff we're used to, slashing carbon, saving water, using smarter materials. And for profit, it means real, tangible economic benefits like lower running costs and higher property values. See, a truly sustainable building has to score an A in all three categories.
Okay, so how do we actually pull this off? How do we build for people, planet, and profit all at the same time? Well, this isn't just a dream anymore. It's really happening, and it's all thanks to some unbelievable new technologies and ideas. This is where it gets super exciting.
Right now, we're seeing a bunch of key trends all coming together. We're talking about buildings that are basically their own mini power plants, buildings that have AI brains optimizing everything 24/7. We're even building with new materials like mass timber that literally suck carbon out of the air. It's a whole new ballgame.
Let's kick off with net zero, because this is a total game changer. Just imagine a building that over a full year makes as much clean energy on site as it pulls from the grid. And this isn't some fringe idea anymore. The White House has actually created a formal definition for it, which is pushing it from a cool concept into the mainstream. It's the new gold standard.
And then you've got the brains of the whole operation, AI and smart technology. We're talking about buildings that actually learn. They use sensors to know when to dim the lights or adjust the temperature. They use AI to predict when a machine is about to break before it actually does. And the results? They speak for themselves. A 25% cut in energy use and a 20% drop in maintenance costs. Incredible.
So we've got the big ideas and the cool tech, but does it all actually add up? Does this whole triple bottom line thing really pay off in the real world? Well, let's look at the data, because this is where the argument for green buildings becomes pretty much undeniable.
Let's talk about the profit pillar first, the money. And wow, the numbers are pretty clear. In the commercial real estate world, LEED-certified buildings charge a way higher rental rate. We're talking over 30% higher than regular buildings. That's the market screaming that sustainability is valuable.
And the financial wins just keep stacking up. You get 25% lower energy use, 20% lower maintenance costs, and for homes, you're looking at an 8% higher resale value. Throw in some government tax credits on top of that, and the message is clear. Investing in sustainability pays for itself and then some. But what about the people pillar? This is where it gets really interesting. The US government did a huge study on its own green buildings and found a 27% increase in occupant satisfaction compared to the national average. It's simple. People are just happier and more comfortable working in these spaces.
And that happiness, it's tied to something even more fundamental, our health. Just look at this number, 47%. That's the drop in sick building syndrome symptoms for people who moved into green housing. That's not just a statistic, that is a life-changing number.
The health benefits are just massive. You get cleaner air inside with fewer nasty pollutants. That leads to fewer breathing problems and just better physical and mental health overall. And if you're a business owner, that means fewer sick days and people sticking around longer. It's a win for everyone.
So, we've gotten really good at making our buildings run more efficiently. But here's the twist. The better we get at solving that problem, the more a different, hidden challenge comes into view. And this is the next great frontier for the entire industry.
Remember that 37% number from the very beginning? Let's look under the hood. As you can see here, most of a building's carbon footprint comes from operational carbon. You know, the energy to run it every day. But that other chunk? That's something called embodied carbon. And as our buildings get more and more efficient, this slice of the pie suddenly becomes the biggest problem we need to solve.
So what the heck is embodied carbon? Well, think of it as all the CO2 that's released just to create the building in the first place. It's the emissions from making the steel and concrete, from trucking it all to the site, from the cranes and equipment. It's basically the building's entire carbon footprint before anyone even turns on the lights.
And here's the tricky part about embodied carbon. Once it's there, it's there. You can't get rid of it. So the only way to fight it is to think about it from the very start. That means choosing materials like mass timber that actually store carbon. It means reusing old buildings instead of tearing them down. And it means designing new buildings so they can be easily taken apart and recycled in the future.
This all leads to this simple but incredibly powerful saying you hear a lot now. The greenest building is the one that already exists. It just perfectly captures why we need to focus on embodied carbon. It forces us to ask, do we really need a new building, or can we make what we already have even better?
And that really brings us to the big, final question. For so long, sustainability was all about building shiny, new, efficient things. But as we get better and better at running our buildings, that's changing. It leaves us with this to think about. Is the future of sustainability less about building more and more about perfecting what's already here?